Namaskar viewers. Welcome to Infinite Possibilities with Pradeep Gupta, brought to you by Mana TV International. Friends, our previous episodes of Freedom versus Escape and Motivation versus Inspiration were really liked by all of you. So today we bring you an equally interesting topic. In these times, most of us are constantly dealing with a lot of pressure and stress. At the same time, we are also flooded with so many choices and actions. So today we will try to understand and distinguish pressure, stress, choice, and actions and see if it is power and stress versus choice and actions or they all come together. But like always, before we begin, let me tell you all that this is not about challenging your beliefs or any of your thinking. We are just offering another outlook, another possibility, another perspective. So I would request you to listen with an open mind. And I promise you, if you do, some beautiful beginnings will definitely happen in your life. So now, let's bring our special guest. Friends, I'm very excited to welcome Victor Manikam, founder of the Victor Manikam Knowledge Group and author of the book Handbook for Life, which is, like I always tell you, absolute treasure of knowledge. Victor quit his job as a dean of a university because he wanted to empower others to find hope and possibilities in their lives. So, Victor, welcome to Infinite Possibilities.
Thank you so much, Pradeep. Once again, as I keep saying in the last few episodes, it's good and great to be back home.
Victor, I'm so glad that you consider this a home because we are all feel very comfortable having you here and listening to you. So, Victor, as you heard me say, today we want to distinguish and understand what exactly we mean by pressure and stress, choice and actions. Could you help us understand what does it mean in our life and what is the difference? Are they really one against the other, or do we actually have all of these in our life all the time?
I'm just looking at it, the moment we say that there is pressure, we often say there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress. I just want to be free from this pressure. I want to be free from the stress. But I just want to bring a thought here at this moment, Pradeep, that if we look at our own lives, pressure and stress is not a negative concept.
Hmm.
I would like
Okay.
to discuss this in two parts. The first part, I will discuss what is pressure and stress. And in the second part, I will discuss what is choice and actions.
Okay.
And then in the third part, probably in the next episode, we can look at discussing how all this comes together, the pressure, stress, what is the paradigm of bringing all this together. But I want to begin with saying we have such a connotation that pressure and stress. I want to be free from pressure. I can't take this stress. Uh, Again, I just want to say pressure is what the external puts on you. Like you get a pressure from the external. So it's a control. It's something that something's happening outside which puts pressure on you. Stress is what is within you, that how it reacts outside. So pressure is an external to you phenomena and stress is an internal to you phenomena. Let's establish that first.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Makes
do I make
sense.
sense?
Yes. Yes.
Look at anywhere. There is pressure. For pressure to exist, there has to be external force. For stress to exist, the force is very internal. Like a pressure cooker. There is pressure put on something. There is pressure. Now, is this pressure and stress wrong? Should there be no pressure or should there be no stress? Is a question that I have to ask uh, to our viewers, to us human beings. If you look at it, some of the best things that we have done have come under pressure, or some of the best things that we have done has come with stress. You know, there is that there is something about pressure and stress which contributes to the kind of choices, the kind of actions we take. So I want to look at pressure and stress as a possibility and not as something that we should not have.
Right. And I think a lot of people actually think of stress or pressure as something very negative. They say, I have too much pressure at my job. I'm always under stress. I don't want this. But they probably don't understand that because of that pressure, they're getting challenged and they become better in what they're doing.
Yeah. So, and I'm also looking at and saying that the pressure and the stress as a coexistence. That means externally when there is pressure, internally there is stress. That will always be there. Or internally when there is stress, you experience pressure from the external. So let us take a very simple, very simple example at home where the children are under pressure from the parents to perform and they take stress within themselves. This is such a common occurrence.
Mhm.
Or the boss puts pressure on his team and the team is under stress. Now, this is something we deal with every time. Or sometimes we talk about, I have a pressure of time. And then the way we work is under stress and duress. So this is such a common thing. It's almost like the air that you breathe. There is always some kind of pressure and stress on us about something all the time. I'm under financial pressure. I'm strained by meeting the bills. It gives me a lot of stress because there is so much pressure. I mean, just look at it that way. It is a constant phenomena in some area of our life every day. Do
True.
I make sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what I would like to do is to create a thought process and say, so let us look at it this way. If the pressure is low and the pressure is high versus the stress is low and the stress is high, because it is all different for each human being, because for sometimes it might look like this pressure is good enough for Pradeep, but for Victor, he might be too stressed about the same pressure. That the pressure may be same, but the stress internal may be different.
That is correct.
So the way we feel about the pressure and stress is distinct from each individual. And therefore, how we express in this coexistence of pressure and stress is important for us to understand.
Makes sense.
Like there are some people who say, I'm surprised, how can you handle so much pressure? And the guy says, no, for me, it's not pressure. I just enjoy this. And I
Correct.
don't feel the pressure. I know there is pressure, but it does not give me stress. You're getting me, Pradeep?
Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
people like, why are you taking so much pressure? There's nothing. He says, no, I'm too stressed. There's so much pressure, I'm too stressed. I don't know how to handle this. So it is distinct for each person. And therefore, I thought we could have a matrix just mapping states of pressure and stress and look at how does this occur in our daily life. Is that okay, Pradeep?
Absolutely. So I have the visual up there and we'll build it as you speak.
Yeah. So now let me look at it. What do you think would be happening when there is the experience? Now I'm not looking at some pressure in terms of joules that we do, or some Pascal or some kilopascal or some kind of pressure which is measured in some physics units, but I'm looking at it from the experience for each person. So we are not calculating as a standard measure of pressure or a standard measure of stress. No, we are not talking of that. We are talking of the experience. So for someone, the pressure may be low, but the same pressure for someone may be high. But whatever it is, this is how it could occur most often for human beings. And at the same time, I'm not saying that this is the rule. But most often it occurs this way. That is the point that I am trying to bring forth. So now let's look at the first step. We say the experience of pressure is low and the stress is low. So how does it occur? There is so much of freedom. So let us say I have to go somewhere, I'm traveling, and I am well before time. So want to reach somewhere at 10 a.m. and I managed, it's a 1.5 hour journey, maximum 2 hours. But I managed to leave at 7:30 to reach there, which I know maximum I will reach by 9:30, given the conditions. So I'm well in time. Now look at how I would drive. I would drive enjoying the space, enjoying the conversation if there is someone with me, or just listening to the music, not worried that I have to reach on time because I definitely reach on time. There is no stress in my driving. I am so comfortable, confident in traveling. And there is so much freedom to look out, enjoy the environment, enjoy the nature, observe things on the road, observe people. There is so much freedom that I can experience for myself in the journey and probably even prepare in advance for what the possibilities are there where I'm going to meet someone or get into a meeting or something. Now that I'm so well in time, there is so much freedom to even prepare about the possibilities once I reach there. You're with me?
Yes, absolutely.
But now let us say the pressure is the same. But if I'm experiencing high stress, which means now I'm same 7:30. There is no pressure. The pressure is low. But I have too many things in my head. Like after that, I reach there. I hope I reach early so that I have some 20 minutes to prepare. There is something that I didn't prepare, but I'm going to reach there and then prepare. Or I'm worried about how this meeting can go because I'm worried about the consequences. I'm meeting someone after a long time and it's about repairing some relationship. And that strain is there. Now I'm not enjoying the situation at all. I'm
That's true.
feeling the strain. There is a certain strain. Of course, how I handle that strain would depend on a positive or negative connotation. But the strain is building up. And there is a certain strain. And I'm strained. Like, when we say there are expressions, I feel so strained. Because same 7:30, same 10 o'clock, what? Because of how this is occurring for me, the stress internal is very high. Externally, the pressure is not.
Correct.
I have the same 2.5 hours. But the way it is occurring for me, or just imagine I'm meeting somebody because I want to break up, or somebody's called me to meet because they want to break up. Can you imagine the amount of strain that is going on inside?
Right.
You're with me? Like when they experience see, there is never going to be no pressure and no stress. But when the components are low in the experience, there is so much freedom to create something in that. But as the stress increases, there is strain. You and I are strained. Nerves are strained. Similarly, even if the stress inside is low, which means now I'm just going for that same thing where I'm looking at freedom, traveling. But that 7:30 has become 8:30 to leave. And now I want to rush. I'm not observing anything. And there is so much pain I give myself. I then hurt myself. I'm guilty. I'm angry with myself. I'm blaming somebody. Then I begin to blame the traffic. This is a sick place to be. This is not. There is so much pain I give myself.
Right.
You're beginning to see this, Pradeep, how it is? Like
Yes,
the, the journey is the same from point A to point B, but the experience based on the pressure and stress component of how I experience myself could have
can be very
freedom,
different.
could have strain, and could have pain.
So I can't even imagine when the pressure is high and the stress is high, how would one feel?
Yeah, I think we should share that now, where there is a certain sense of helplessness. Now, just imagine I'm already late. That 7:30 has become 8:30 to leave, and I'm going to deal with a breakup. How do you think I would be there in the car? It's like my life sucks. I can't even manage anything in my life. My
Miserable.
life
Yeah.
is a waste. Like it's like sucks. Everything's going against me. I can't manage anything. Like this is too much. This is so unfair. Life can't be so unfair. It can't be like this. And I can't think straight at that moment. I think the world's end and the whole world's against me. I blame the entire situation, I blame the entire circumstances, I blame the entire environment, but I myself am unable to think and act and feel in any certain sensible way. I'm all over the place. I sometimes am angry. There is someone with me, I'm bursting out, and the person, relax, what's this? And you're like, dude, I'm not angry. I'm just helpless. See, helpless people are behaving so angry. How do I explain to you? Shut up. I am. Some of time, many of the times when we are angry,
Hmm.
we show anger, but actually internally we are so helpless. So
Yeah,
helpless by the
exactly.
pressure and stress around us.
We are angry because of the frustration inside us. We can't do anything
Interest,
about it. That's very correct.
interesting, like that frustration is a state where the pressure and the stress has really peaked. So we're always looking at freedom. Now, the twist here is how do I experience pressure and stress is going to define, or rather, define uh, whether I experience freedom or I experience helplessness.
Yeah.
The
So just
journey,
one observation, Victor, if I may. So like you said, how the experience is that can vary from person to person. But even for the same person, that can change, right? That can shift. So suppose I left at 7:30, I had given myself enough time and I was feeling freedom. But all of a sudden there was an accident on the road and now I'm stuck in traffic jam for an hour. And now all of a sudden the stress shifts from low to high. So I can actually go from a feeling of freedom to a feeling of strain.
oh yeah. Probably you go to a feeling of strain. You are getting strained for the first 10 minutes. After that, there is so much pain, and then maybe that state will shift from freedom to helplessness
Right, right.
right there in the journey. Very beautifully captured, Pradeep. Very beautifully captured. It's very much possible. And these
Okay.
states, now the thing is, if we can understand the states are shifting internally, uh, and we can be aware that this is what is happening internally. This is something that I'm experiencing. The freedom, strain, pain, and helplessness is not the truth that is occurring, but it is true for me in that moment, in my experience, which I am creating for myself as a reaction or a response to the pressure and stress uh, components in the moment for me.
Wow. Beautifully put, Victor.
Now, now I'm just looking at this and saying, wait, hold. Now this is the pressure and stress matrix. But for a moment, what is really important for us? The choices we make and the actions we take. That's all. The only thing that is important is the choices we make and the actions we take. Rest, everything is conceptual. But what really impacts in that moments of pressure and stress is the choice and actions that we take. There is nothing else. And I'm now going to tell you how this fits. And you, when you just watch the matrix or the matrix that comes up, Pradeep, it's possible that you look and say, hey, this is something that I didn't think about. And even when I was creating this, I myself was like, yeah, this is so obvious in our everyday actions, in our everyday existence. So again, what we will do is we will plot choices and actions, the low to high phenomena or choices and actions.
Okay.
Now, given a situation, my choices are very low, and there are just one or two actions that I can take, or the choices are very low, and I will stay with that situation at that time in the pressure and stress. As I'm traveling. Uh, Imagine the condition where now I'm trapped in the traffic and I have very low choices, and there's nothing. There is just one action where I have to just wait for the traffic to clear, and the only action I can take is wait, and only choice I have is probably to park the car somewhere aside or listen to music. Uh, there's not much choice that I have.
That is
And
correct.
the way I can act is it's like I'm completely controlled. There is nothing I can do, and just sit back and observe what is happening to me with no say in the matter in that situation. I experienced tremendous helplessness, just tremendous helplessness about how did I land up myself in this situation.
Correct.
Or let me say I have to deal with some mortgages and there is a pressure with respect to the finance. I'm like, how did I land up myself? Now the only thing probably I can do is probably these mortgages are not going to pay. I can revise my mortgage, or I just need to sell my assets. There's nothing. I that was the wrong thing that I did, but now I'm left with no choice. Look at how resigned people are when they say, I don't think I have a choice. I think what actions can I take? There's nothing to
Yeah.
take. So when there are choices are low and the actions are low, uh, then there's a state of helplessness. But now just imagine the choices are low, but you are able to create a new action. So let's say I'm like not there, but I'm calling up the person and saying, you know what, there is a traffic jam here, and I think I'm badly stuck. And I really don't know if we can manage the meeting. Maybe when the traffic clears, I'll call you. If it's still possible, we can handle it. And if it's not, then maybe we need to can the meeting. Now, in that time, I'm just taking control. I'm still in the same traffic jam that I'm there. Uh, right? And that person says, you know what? It's okay. I think we can do something. Or else, since you're stuck there, maybe we can start having a conversation on phone. Uh, and then by the time you reach, we can come to some conclusions and then we can
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
agree
I
to
was
very
about
good.
to suggest that. I was about to suggest that because it has happened with me, this exact situation, because my work used to be 2 hours from my house. And there were so many times when I was getting stuck in traffic and getting late. And this is exactly what I used to do. Just call my other people and say, hey guys, I'm stuck in traffic. I will be on the phone. You guys be in the conference room, but just keep the speaker on and I'll be on the speaker phone with you. So yeah, I can totally relate to this example.
Now you discover that something else is possible.
It's possible.
So
Exactly.
the choices are not many, but you are inventing new actions. Actually, you have no choice but to wait there, sit there.
Exactly. Yeah.
But sitting there, you're inventing actions and you discover, hey, this is possible. I never thought of it. This is really possible. You know, if nothing is there, you just scan the meeting and you sit there and say, when the traffic clears, I'm reading a book.
Yep.
Now, what has happened is, it is not that defaulty actions existed, but you created and discovered for yourself and for myself that, hey, this is also possible given the situation, given the limited choices. Now I take this a little bit and I say, I don't have much action. Like, there are only one or two things. but the choices are so many. There are so many choices I have. How does that happen? That is a state where you have inquiry. And you inquire there as to see if I do this, these are all things that's possible. And if I do this, these are all the things that if I make the call and I speak to my boss, I can apologize, I can give him an excuse, I can blame the traffic. There are so many choices I have. I can blame. The choice is to blame. The choice is to take responsibility. I'm seeing there are so many things. There are so many choices for me. The action is to make a call. Maybe that's the only action left is either to make a call or sit there and be resigned. I can't do anything else other than that. But I'm inquiring in that moment, should I blame? Should I take responsibility? What can I do here? Should I give options to that person? Now, amazing, right? Suddenly there's a whole world of choices. Maybe I can talk about how we can set up the next time, where it goes. Maybe we can it, we prepare it. There are so many things. What is there is only two actions. One, sit there. Second is make a call.
Make the call. Right.
Those are the only two actions. But the choices that one has comes of an inquiry. What can I do? Can I do this? Can I do this? In the call, can I do? What is always possible? What suggestions can I come up with? How can I handle this situation? Or if I have to stay, what I will do? Maybe I'll just park the car, wait, correct, and take it to the nearby parking and put it there and just have a breakfast. Or just go and have coffee and just make calls to friends and just can the meeting. There are so many choices I can create in those limited actions because I'm inquiring within myself what is possible for me in this situation.
Very, very important step here, the inquiry step. Yep.
And now imagine I take this further and say I have multiple choices and I have multiple actions. In that time, there is freedom. Now, any situation, because I take responsibility, I can create as many actions and as many choices as I want. I'm not perturbed. I'm not disturbed. I have complete freedom to accept what has happened, and there I can experience freedom because I have created many choices and many actions. Many choices are available. And I'll tell you, Pradeep, myself, uh, I just love this traffic incident, and I could put this across various things in relationships at home, relationships at workplaces, relationships in marriage. You will find that this exists. This whole matrix works in everywhere. Pradeep. That how to be in a situation is with you. How to be in any situation lies with you. Uh, I'll probably put it like this. Pressure and stress are there, and there are choices and actions with you. It always exists. But how you and I deal with it could be either from world of blame, which would skew us towards helplessness, or to a world of responsibility, which would take us to freedom.
I see where you're going, Victor, but I think that's something that would require another discussion probably because that's a big topic in itself. If you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, yeah.
what you shared right now, it is actually, I think it's a wonderful outlook on pressure and stress. And I noticed actually that pressure and stress have freedom and helplessness exactly switched around. And when we have choices and actions like that, with too many we have high choices and high action, that's where it results in freedom. Whereas if we had high pressure and high stress, that was actually causing helplessness. So I think I would probably like to stop here in this episode because you have given us a lot of material to think about, to ponder, and to kind of reflect on. Viewers, I want you to think about this. See what you understand, and do you fall in this pattern also? again, I mean, we're not really saying here that pressure and stress are negative. That was one thing Victor made very clear in the beginning. And we're not saying that choice and action is always positive either. But basically, we need to learn how to have all these in our life and integrate them to create a fulfilled life. And that's something that we, I think, would do in our next episode. So, right now, I think I want to stop here. And Victor, I want to thank you for distinguishing for us what is pressure, what is stress, how they work together, and the experience they gave us. And the same thing with choice and actions. So, friends, I want you to write to us about your feelings, about your comments, any feedback you want to share with us. What was your experience of listening to this conversation? You can email to us at info@manatv.net. That is info at manatv.net. NET. And please put infinite possibilities in the subject line so we get your email. We really look forward to hearing from you. And any questions, any issues that you would like us to address in our upcoming episodes, please feel free to share with them. We look forward. Victor, thank you once again for giving us such a unique perspective. Like always, I keep making high demands on you, and every time you satisfy that, it's amazing and it's a wonderful experience having you here with us. So, viewers, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. And Victor, thank you for coming here. Very soon we'll have you again, and we'll do the completion on our pressure and stress versus control and action episode. Thank you all.
Maybe all this is happening, Pradeep, because you create a space of freedom. You know, I think there's so much freedom here in being at home that this is what it's created.
Thank you, Victor. So thank you and thank you, viewers. You just watched Infinite Possibilities with Pradeep Gupta, brought to you only by Mana TV International. Thank you. We'll be back soon.
Thank you.